Alright guys, so between Atomic Heart, the Suicide Squad gameplay, and Sons of the Forest releasing, I've been a bit busy recently. Alright, we're gonna get to some of that other stuff later, but today we're gonna talk about the Suicide Squad gameplay / informational trailer. Alright, and this came out a couple days ago. People have, aired out their opinions about this, but I figured I might as well put mine out there just because I've covered the other types of games that this kind of copies. If you don't know, we're going to be talking a lot about the Avengers game and a lot about Gotham Knights. If you haven't played those or you don't know anything about them, I have videos, a lot of videos, especially on the Avengers game out there. There's plenty of videos on each of those games. I tend to favor Gotham Knights a bit more positively than most people, but for the most part, both of those games have similar problems, and this game looks like it's going in the same direction. So let's go ahead and break down what all of those problems are. So gameplay-wise, it's a beat-em-up superhero co-op game, right? And I talked about this with the Avengers game, I talked about it with Gotham Knights. That part of the game is fine. The combat is never the problem with these games. Yes, they could be better. Yes, the varying playstyles, especially within Gotham Knights, is felt between the characters. Red Hood, specifically, who I chose to play, was the worst out of all of them. That's just a proven fact by now. He was the least fun character to play. But aside from that, realistically with these games, you have your tank character, maybe an elemental character, a ranged character, a fast character, an aerial character, those typical stereotypes that these people fall into. And yes, you're going to have gear mods like with all these other games and elemental equipment that I'm sure you can slot in and out that'll have different effects and percentages that go up and down. But the biggest problem I want to talk about, right? The gameplay you really can't judge until you get your hands on the game. Sure, this looks fun, but the Avengers game looked fun, and Gotham Knights looked fun. I'm not saying those games can't be fun within the gameplay elements themselves, but they had other problems. So I'm not really going to focus on the gameplay today. What I want to focus on is the progression. So another problem both Gotham Knights and the Avengers game have is they don't really put you in a linear type of gameplay loop. Now, I'm not saying I need squared off levels that I can't expand on, or I don't want an open world, but I don't want a system where I have to go back to some sort of hub, select a mission type, go into an area that I've been to 10 times before, do a mission type that I've done 10 times before, just to get the gear pieces or the XP or the little elemental factor or the rarity increase, and then do the same thing over and over and over again. And that's what both of those games did, and that's what this game's looking like it's going to do. Now, personally, I like linear stuff. I would have been perfectly fine if it was just rooms or open world areas that you go to from point A to point B. You can't explore, you can't go around, it's not open world, you just move throughout the story linearly. That's perfectly fine with me. That's not what they're choosing to do here. Especially within a co-op setting, I understand that. They want people to be able to explore and do their own thing. Fine. But if, like comparing to Gotham Knights, it's going to be that system, or like the Avengers game, where you have to go to a hub and do all that stuff I just said over and over, it's going to get repetitive really quickly, and that's where the gameplay is going to come in. If this is the path the game chooses to go down, the lifetime of the game is going to depend on three things. One, how bored are you of this gameplay cycle of the going to a hub and going back into the same areas and doing the same missions over and over and over and over again? If you haven't done that, if you haven't touched the Avengers game, if you haven't touched Gotham Knights, this will last longer for you, obviously. If you've just played those and you played them completely and even those were starting to bore you, then you're probably going to feel a lot of repetitiveness in this game if, again, this is the path they choose to go down. Number two, how good is the story, right? Don't care what you say, how much you care about gameplay. If the story isn't interesting, you're not playing the game for a reason. If you're just bored, beating people up is gonna get boring eventually. Now, the third one and the final thing I want to talk about is the progression and the customization. Now, I'm all about progression. If you haven't heard me rant about this before, I need a reason to be playing. It could be factually proven to be the most fun gameplay ever created. I don't care if I do not have a reason to be playing. I need a skin to unlock, some type of new area to unlock, a new move, a new ability, something. A reason to be playing the game. I don't care how good the gameplay or the story is, I need progression. So that brings us to my favorite word in a non-online free-to-play game, a battle pass. So this game is going to have a battle pass, and it wasn't clear if all of the cosmetics were going to be locked behind the battle pass, or if they're just going to be exclusive cosmetics within the battle pass. Either way, this is a problem, because obviously if all the cosmetics are locked behind the battle pass, and the battle pass is not free, then you're essentially cutting off 25% of the game, I would say, to pay to win behind a paywall, right? And it's not really pay to win because, again, it's cosmetics. It doesn't affect how you perform, but that's half the fun of these games, is customizing your character, making him look unique and different, and feeling like you're changing your playstyle and your look while you're progressing through the game. So if this battle pass, everything is within it and it costs money, fuck you. If everything's within it and it's free, I hate that, but fine, right? Give me something. I'm going to use a random example like the Spider-Man game, right? You had to find all the backpacks and all of that stuff to get new suits, and while some suits were locked behind story progression, which again is fine, you didn't have to progress through some stupid battle pass. And I'm sure the battle pass is going to be stuff like daily challenges and weekly challenges, as well as progression of the main story to lock out those skins and keep you playing for longer periods of time. Now, the other option is that there's free skins that you can get through, let's just, to keep it simple, a backpack system like Spider-Man, and then there's the battle pass skins. The problem with this is that without them saying a word, I can tell you without a doubt that all of the free skins are going to be dog shit, and all of the battle pass skins are going to be the really cool ones that you want. And again, if that's what they choose to do, because that's what everybody's doing, fine, but fuck you, I'm taking points off for it. I hate that. So let me just compare this to another game with a battle pass that is very similar, and I've mentioned about 9 times at this point. Let's look at the Avengers game. So the way the Avengers battle pass was broken down was per character. So Black Widow, Hawkeye, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, they all had their individual battle passes. These would include things like stupid player banners and emblems and icons and stupid stuff like that, as well as takedown skins and currency which you needed to progress through the battle pass. The problem with this is that if you chose to play the same character, for me, Captain America, throughout the entire story and max leveling their skill tree and doing at launch all of the multiplayer content available, you were still nowhere close to completing one character's skill tree. That is my problem with this. Even doing dailies and weeklies, I still have not finished Captain America's battle pass. Now, I don't avidly play the Avengers game, but I've gone back to it 2 or 3 times, and I've only played Captain America, and I'm still nowhere close. So, aside from putting real money into the game, there's no other way to progress. So imagine, let's say I put, 40 hours on the Avengers game, because that's probably about accurate, as one character. Well, now there's 8 to 10 characters. You have to put that for each character to get through the battle pass, to get all of the skins. And of course, the cool skins aren't even in the battle pass. They're locked specifically to the store, all of the licensed MCU skins, the skins you actually want. And I'm sure the Suicide Squad will do the same thing. They're not going to give you the Suicide Squad movie Deadshot or movie Harley Quinn skin or any of that stuff. That's all going to be locked to the store specifically or behind the paid battle pass. This is, again, assumption, but based off the models that they're following to make the game, it's not that crazy of an assumption. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an example of what we could be looking at in May when this battle pass comes out with the game. Now, best case scenario, the game comes out, the battle pass is free, the gameplay is good, the story is good, it actually works at launch, because who knows these days, there's no daily or weekly challenges. It could be great. I'm just taking the things that we know for certain and speculating based off the 2 similar games we've gotten in the same genre and in the same development type of cycle within the past year. Now, that being said, it could be great, right? I mean, the Avengers game, it can't be worse than that, because that's literally getting shut off in September. They're deleting that game essentially. Gotham Knights, I didn't hate Gotham Knights. Now, yeah, it could have been a lot better, but again, didn't hate it. So, if this takes what Gotham Knights did, does it a tiny bit better. You know, makes it not as repetitive, the story is a bit better. Now, Fortnite's had some pretty damn good customization, so they'll be struggling there, especially with the Battle Pass, but this game could be good. I'm not giving up on it yet. Now, if it comes out that there's a pay-to-win Battle Pass, and that's the only way to get customization, then I don't know if I'm gonna buy this game. But right now, I still have hope for the Suicide Squad game. You guys let me know what you think of all this new information down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.